Okay, thank you very much, everyone. So today is a surprise webinar. Reason being is there's a software launch happening this week, and obviously most of you know Naranjan. If you don't, he's a very good friend of mine. We've been doing business together for many, many years. He's released numerous softwares with his partner Bings, and they keep on supporting, keep on updating their softwares. So today, Naranjan's agreed to come on to showcase his new software called a Best Maze Generator. I've had a little play with it. I haven't had a full hands-on because of my holiday that I've had, but I'm going to learn a lot of stuff today. So, Naranjan, what I'll do is, buddy, I'll hand it over to you, and guys. Also, if you have any questions, keep it to the end, and then we can answer them then. But I'll hand it over to Naranjan now. Thanks, buddy. Thanks for coming.
Thanks, you. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me again. And hi, everyone. So I'm going to take over the presentation from here, and I'm going to show you what is it that we have been working on that you just briefly mentioned. So let me see if I can just put up my screen up here so that you can take a look at it. All right. So the way we are going to run this presentation is pretty similar to the last time around we did it. So what I'm going to do is, Steph says, this is going to be great. Thank you, Steph. So what I'm going to do is share my screen with you. I'm going to talk to you, ask you questions. I would absolutely love it if you can list down your questions and interact with me as and when we go through the presentation. All right. So please be interactive through the chat box. And as you said, once the presentation is done, we will get to your questions and make sure we answer every single one of them so that you can make an informed decision when the app goes live. All right. So if you can just let me know in the chat box if you are good with me sharing the screen. Please give me a 1 in the chat box if I can share my screen with you so that we can get started. Perfect. Hi, so is my screen visible? You should be seeing a Google Doc over here that I have put together and an application over here. Let me know if you can see the screen. Brilliant. Okay. All right, so before we start, is there anyone here? I see Preeti, I see Steph, I see Teresa, I see Mary, lovely, Kelly. Okay, is there anyone here who doesn't know who I am and what I do so that I can do a quick introduction to supplement the information that Huw gave you? Is there anyone here who doesn't know what I do? Mary says I don't. Right? Anybody else? No, so I'm gonna assume that you know what kind of product. Issue is like floating around somewhere in the house. So what I'm gonna do right now, Michelle says no. All right. So let me give you a quick introduction. All right. My name is Niranjan Pradhan, and as you said, we've been working together in this particular space for quite a few years right now. I am a KDP publisher, just like you are. And I'm supported by a team, and we do create software applications for our own internal use that we then release to the indie publishing community. All right. So we have released a few apps in the past, and this is one of our premium, applications that's releasing on the 7th of November. All right. So that's pretty much a brief introduction about me. And what I'll do now is start taking you through the application. Before we take you through the application, I'm going to give you the use cases. I'm going to help you understand why this application was necessary in the first place, and then hopefully let you decide if this is something that would be a good fit for you. Okay, so now this product is called Best Maze Generator. All right, now we call this Best Maze Generator because we did not have a better name that we could think of for this particular application. Right now, let me give you an insight into what is the problem statement that we are trying to address over here. Now, when you go to Amazon, you start searching for maze books, and you will come across a lot of maze books that have the standard mazes in there, like the rectangular ones, the circular one, the triangular ones, and so on. You would hardly find any, from indie publishers that are bases that are having a story associated with them that look as if they are hand-drawn. Okay. Now, if you take a look at this example that I have on my screen here, let me just maximize this. Yeah. So if you take a look at this particular image, you can see that it has a story inbuilt into the maze book. All right. Now, if you move on along the same lines, you would see multiple pages that are available. And these kind of mazes are not possible if you do not have, you can't create this. Number one, if you do not have the artistic skills. Number two, if you do not have a team, whether it is outsourced or whether it is in-house, if you do not have a team, creating something like this can be difficult. And even if you did so, even if you outsource it, managing the project would be very difficult, because if you want those small changes, it will not be feasible for you to make it happen in a short notice. All right. And of course, the cost of outsourcing can be significantly high, which will create that inherent fear of whether this book will succeed or it will fail. All right. So this is the problem statement that we wanted to solve. This is what we wanted to solve for the indie publishing community, for ourselves as well, so that we could create something like this, where we have artistic mazes that are there on our pages. There are story-based layouts that we create out of it. And at the same time, we are not really dependent on outsourcing the project. We could do that on our own in a couple of settings, and that would be it, right? So that was the objective. And let me give you some more examples of the kind of stuff that, or the problem statement that we are trying to resolve. Now, these are not the exact mazes we are going to create, but I just want to help you understand the problem statement that we are looking here, right? I have got a few more. Now, this is from a school zone. I think this is the one that I had open. You can see, let's close this one. Here's another example, right? Here's another example where it is not a standard maze that you would see that looks as if it is computer generated, right? This is another one. I was like quickly looking for some examples, but I don't. Yeah, this is one more example where you can see the kind of mazes that they have and the way they have customized it, right? So this is what we are looking at as a problem statement to solve. Now, I have a question for you. Do you understand what is it that we are trying to solve with the application that I'm going to showcase right now? Give me a yes in the chat box if you understand the problem statement that we're trying to resolve. Because when it comes to computer generated mazes, right, when it comes to standard rectangular, circular, triangular mazes, like there are solutions out there in the market which can do that and which can help you create those applications, right? Create those books. In fact, we do have a solution that Huw has recommended to his community, which does that, right? But here, it's a little different, because the kind of mazes that we saw, these mazes cannot be generated by the computer. These are artistic mazes, these are hand-drawn mazes, and they have a premium look and feel about it. So how do we solve this problem? How do we get to a solution where you can leverage these kind of mazes in your maze books or in your activity books, but at the same time, you do not need to have any kind of artistic skills, drawing skills, or you do not have to have a big budget for outsourcing multiple projects. Okay, so how do we do that? The solution that we came up with is by combining the artistic prowess that we have. Now, many of you know this. Some of you, in case you don't know, we do have an in-house design team. Now, what we did is we leveraged this in-house design team to come up with a certain number of mazes, right? Or maze templates. Now, these mazes, they were created to a certain standard so that they could be programmed into. So what we did is, in the first step, we created mazes, which are hand-drawn by artists who have about 10 to 12 years of experience working in this particular field. After that, these were transferred to the engineering team that we have, and the engineering team took every single maze that the design team created, and then they programmed into it. The moment we program a maze, what happens is we as developers get the ability to alter things in there so that those features can be transferred into the front end for you to kind of point and click your way to creating amazing page layouts, right? So we wanted to create all these in a manner so that it's easy for you to create these mazes while you retain the creative freedom, but at the same time, you don't spend a lot of money outsourcing your content, right? Of course, even if you kind of outsource one book, it's going to cost you a premium for this kind of content, right? So imagine this, like one page layout costing you say $10, you need 100 pages for one of your maze books. You do the math, right? So that is how we went ahead and created the application after engineering the entire maze sets. What we did is we brought them into our intuitive drag and drop builder. We have an interface. In case you have not seen it, I'll show it to you right now. We have an interface where we inserted all of these mazes for you so that you can insert images into it and create your own page layouts. Okay, so that's how we went ahead and created the solution. And with your permission, I would love to showcase the interface right now. Please give me a one if you are already excited about the possibilities of what is coming up, right? Steph, Huw, Mary, thank you so much. So what we will do is we'll start with this particular application. Preeti, Lynn, appreciate it. So we have got Maze, Best Maze Generator Collections. Now this is where it all starts. This is where you create a folder, all right? So we will name this folder appropriately and we will call this Hugh's Friends, all right? And I'm going to delete the default collection. The reason why it is a best practice to name your projects properly is because when you download the pages that you create, from the what you see is what you get editor, your project would have the name that you have given here, right? If you do not give anything here and just use the default name, what will happen is the downloaded files would have default folder, default folder, default folder. That would be the name for every single one of them, right? That way, when you come back to your projects or to your collections or to your kind of content after a certain period of time, you will not be able to realize which project that is it you're looking for. Okay, so it's a good idea to always start by naming your collection and naming it such that you can recognize it at a later point in time. All right, so now that we have named this, what we will do is click on it, and when I click on it, it will take me to the interface. Does this interface look familiar? Anybody who has seen this already, I think I'm sure you know that the interface is pretty much like this for all the applications. But in case you are new to me and haven't ever seen one of our applications, you would sense a little bit of familiarity because it looks like Canva. You have some elements here, you have some options here, you have some interface over here. This is where all the action will happen. You'll be creating your content and so on, right? So there is a little bit of resemblance with Canva. Of course, it's way different from that, the way it functions, but the interface looks like this, and we have 3 to 4 different sections. Okay, this is the left navigation, this is the middle navigation, this is where your editor lies. Like this is the what you see is what you get editor. This is the page. The way you craft this page, it will turn out exactly in your output file that you'll upload to Amazon KDP when it's done. All right, now the moment you land here, you would see these mazes. Okay, the easiest way of working with this maze or inserting it into a page is this. You take a look at the mazes that are available, right? The moment you take a look at these mazes that are available and you want to start introducing one of them onto the page, what you do is just click on this, okay? Click on a maze, and that maze would be inserted onto the page, right? So one click here and the maze is available. Now let me help you understand the workflow or the process, how it is generated. The reason why I want to emphasize on this is to give you an idea of what goes into creating these, okay? Now, as you can see, this particular maze is not something that is generated on the computer on the fly. Now, we are known for generating a lot of content on the fly right there on the computer, but with these, the requirement is completely different. All right. As you can see here, we do not have this generated by the computer. This is something that has been drawn by an artist. Okay. One artist went ahead and created this maze so that it is available for you over here. All right. Now, the way you would be able to there are certain edits that you can do. Let me show you. Once you click on this, all right. Once you click on this, you would have the middle navigation open up. All right. And here, if you click on the solution, if you click on show solution, it will show the solution inside of the maze. All right. For some reason, because of the video, I'm unable to show this to you right now. Let me see if it kind of allows me to showcase it. So left click on this, and when you left click on this, you click on the show solution option and you update it. This is how you will be able to show the solution inside of the maze. Now, if you want to increase the thickness of the solution, you can do that. If you want to decrease it, you can do that. We have it at an optimum value of 4. That's what I like. And you would ideally not want color in your pages. So you would want to go with a color that is black, gray, or something like that, right? So this is something that you can go with. This is what your manuscript pages are going to look like. Am I clear so far? Do you understand how basic and how simple it is to have a maze created inside of a page that you'll be using in your manuscript? Can I get a yes or no from your from y'all? If you have any questions, do let me know. All right. Steph, Rachel, Mary, thank you so much. So now that we understand Lynn, Evelyn, Teresa, Preeti, thank you so much, everyone. Now that we understand how these mazes are supposed to work and the editing options that we have, the question is, Niranjan, what do we do next? Right? What do we do next in order for us to have the look and feel that is remotely looking like something that you showed us on the Amazon pages? You would need images, right? You would need images that you can use along with this page, right? And all of these, they come available. They are available right here on the interface, and you will be able to click and bring them here to work with them, right? Now, as Steph said, put the story in. You will be able to upload your images here, right? Upload your images here and insert them one by one to create a composition of your own, right? You'll be able to create a story of your own. So let's say you have a carrot here and you have a rabbit over here. You can do that. You can put the rabbit here, a carrot here, and maybe put some images of plants over here by inserting them through this image upload functionality. That's what you do. That's how you go about customizing your page. Okay. Now, in the front end offer, you are going to get 50 such mazes that have been crafted for you. And these 50 mazes have the solution built into them so that you can use them. In OTO 1, you would be able to, can be put in a background. Steph, you can put any sort of image that you want. One thing that you have to be extremely careful about is if you put images that are very heavy or are not optimized, what will happen is when you have 100 pages, each carrying one of those heavy images, it might become you might struggle to work with that manuscript. All right, that is the only constraint that you have to look at. But from a software's perspective, there is absolutely no limitation in terms of what you want to put in here. All right, so in the front end, you get 50 of these. And unlike a lot of our other products where upload images option is not available in the front end, in this particular application, we have given upload images option in the front end. It comes with some restrictions. You can upload images one by one, but you can upload images because without this, you will not be able to customize the entire page. You will not be able to create your story. So therefore, we have the upload images option in the front end with this particular product. All right. Now, when you get the first upgrade, right? When you get the first upgrade, you will be getting 50 more of these hand-drawn mazes. You will be getting the PowerPoint download options, which is extremely important. You will get unlimited download options and a lot of other features that we will talk about in a bit. All right. So this is about front end and the first upgrade. 50 in the front end, 50 more in the upgrade, along with a few other advanced features. OTO 2, which is called the premium offer, right? This is where we have given the farm away, right? And I really want to make sure that you understand what is available in the product so far on the front end and OTO 1, so that when we go to OTO 2, you have a clear picture in your mind how it differentiates you, how it gives you a lot of power to kind of, extract a lot more out of the application. And the level of content that has been given would kind of, make you wonder if this is for real. Okay, so before we get started with OTO2, are there any questions that you have on front end and the first upgrade? Please give me a no in the chat box if you do not have any questions on the front end and the first upgrade for the software. Right? So Lynn says no, Teresa says no, Hugh says no, Rachel says no. So this is a simple, straightforward product that we have. Evelyn says no, Tatiana says no. I think participation is increasing now. We have more and more people joining us, right? Now we will go to OTO2 or the premium offer, and I want you to be extremely careful when you watch this video, because you blink an eyelid and you might miss some of the features here. So please feel free to ask questions in this particular segment. The first thing that we want to take a look at in OTO2 is this. In the front end, you get 50 such mazes. These are all hand-drawn and then programmed into. Every single of them has been programmed into, right? So you get 50 of this in the front end, 50 of them in OTO1. In OTO2, you will get 200 more, right? 200 more mazes is what you are getting in OTO2. Is that clear? Can you just give me the number? Can you please give me the number that you heard in terms of how many mazes are you getting access to in OTO2? Lovely. All of us understand the number of mazes that have been handcrafted and then programmed for you. 200 of those. All right. Now, after that, what we have done is we have created a special maze editor which will allow you to define your own solution. And this is the star of the show. All right. So when you get OTO2, you would get access to a very special editor that will allow you to change the solution path. Imagine this. If you were an artist and if you hand drew this particular maze, won't you have the liberty to change the solution path from what is given over here to something else? Right? If you were the artist, you would not be at the mercy of another artist or another person or a software to be able to change the solution path, right? What if that feature magically appeared and you now, even though you haven't drawn this, you still are able to change the solution path? Would that be helpful? Would that help you extract more out of every single maze?
That we can help the search to
Hugh, I think. Hugh, can you please mute everyone? All right, thank you so much. Appreciate it. All right, so now the question I have for you is, do you think if we had an opportunity or you had an opportunity to somehow say that I do not want to follow this path, rather I would follow a whole different path to arrive at a solution? Let me know what is going on in your mind, because if you believe that that would be a feature that would essential, that would kind of give you the ability to structure all your mazes differently, then when I show you the solution, you'll be able to appreciate it. Steph says that's 200 mazes on steroids, right? Who else is able to recognize the power of this? Love the chance to be original. Michelle, this is a big point, right? This is a big thing, everyone. You will not be at the mercy of the default solution. Rather, you would have the ability to alter the path and kind of, make every single maze different. All right. And that is exactly what we are going to see now. What we will do is we'll click over here, right? And the moment you click on that, you would see that there is a context menu over here, right? So click on this particular icon, which is a pencil icon, and that will open up the edit maze option or the maze editor for you. Everyone, can you see the maze editor? Can you please give me a quick yes if you're able to see the maze editor? Right? Steph can see it, Tatiana can see it. Excellent. So what we are going to do now is understand what the maze editor does for us. And we are going to do this with one maze. And then I want you to do the calculation in your mind to amplify this for 200 mazes. Imagine the possibility. In fact, 300 mazes, because you get 15 FE and OTO1, right? So think about the possibilities while we work on this. Now, this has got three parts. Number one, you see that there are some steps defined here. These are the left navigation steps in the editor. There is a visual editor over here, and we have some buttons which look like this: solution, maze, and reset. All right. Now, this is the original maze that we have. I'm left clicking and dragging it along, so you can see that we have the pan feature, right? You can expand this so that you can work on specific components. You can take it back to original one. The reset option is going to kind of reset everything the way it was there. And then we have got the solution and the mazes. So before we move forward, let's expand default solution. Now, what is default solution? The blue lines that you see is the maze path that we have. This is the default solution. What we have done is we have broken this thing down into multiple parts, right? This path is not one continuous line. It is an amalgamation of a number of partial lines, and that is exactly what you can see here. Do you see a change in color when I hover over solution one? Let me just expand this so that you can see this, right? So take a look at this. Do you see that a part is highlighted here? This particular part is being highlighted here, right? When I hover to the next one, you will see another one is being highlighted. Now, when I move along, you can see that we are essentially tracing the maze solution path. Yeah? Is this clear? Everybody is able to recognize this? Can I get a 1 from you, please, if you understand this? So now think about it logically. Thank you, everyone. Think about it logically. If you did not want this path, then what do you have to do? You have to have a solution or some kind of a way where you can disable this, right? So the way you can do that is by clicking on this. The moment you click on this, this gets disabled. The moment you click on this again, it gets enabled. Is this powerful? Now, are you getting the drift? Do you see how the ability to craft your own solution path is being provided to you through a simple solution like switching it on and off? This is how we have divided the default path, and you can switch it on and off depending on however you like it. Okay. Now the question is, Niranjan, this looks exciting already, but what if I want to change the path completely? If you want to change the path completely, it's a very straightforward process, because what you need to do is you need to take a look at the custom solutions. When you switch these custom solutions on, you would see that everything gets selected or everything gets highlighted, and very similar to the previous step, you will be able to select or deselect those. Does this make sense? Is this something that you can do? Can you point and click to arrive at a path that you're interested in? Give me a yes if this is something that you feel confident about being able to implement in your business. All right. We will talk about intersections later in a bit, but for now, let us focus on this, right? So what we have learned so far, I'm getting a lot of yeses. Teresa, Evelyn, we have got Tatiana, Huw, Rachel, fantastic. Michelle. So now that you have understood that you can control the solution paths from here, then let me show you there's another thing that you can do as well, and that is you can avoid all of these and control this directly over here. This interface is in a position to let you or allow you have this selected or deselected, like when you select, like when you click on them. Okay, so if I want to deselect this, I'll highlight this and click on it. Now it is deselected. If I want to select it back again, I would do this. Okay, and when I apply, I would be arriving at this particular page. Okay, so now let's go back, and what we will do is we will get back to our original solution. This is what we had, and we will create a new path altogether. Okay, so how are we going to create the new path? We are not going to follow this. So let's say we use this one, and instead of going here, what we do is we take this particular path, right? So we'll start from here, and we will take a right turn from here and come all the way to this path. So what would I do for that to happen? I would start here. So far, this is good. Like, I'll come over here, but these are the solution paths that I don't need. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of those. So first things first, click on those and deselect them. Right? Some places you will see that it is sensitive, it picks up more elements, and those are the ones which are not at the cross section. All right. So this is how we would arrive at a situation where we are not switching anything on that we do not use in the maze. All right. So let's say this is what it looks like right now. So how do we know which is the end, which end is the start? So Steph, that depends on your story, right? You could use this as the start, or you could use this as the start. And if you find one to be the start, the other one would be the end of it, right? So it depends on your story and how you want to position it, right? So now everyone, can you help me understand what else I need to get rid of? I need to get rid of this as well, correct? Because this is not in our new path. So now what we are going to do is we are going to start here, come here, and we are going to take this route. Okay, so for us to do that, what we are going to do is we are going to select this, switch this on, just hover over it, you will be able to switch it on. And this is what we are interested in. This is what we are interested in. Okay, now it looks like we have a new path. Is this looking like we are heading towards our goal, right? Teresa says, great. Now we do have some problems here. The problem is this: when you come and follow this path, it is not natural for us to move from this particular path that we have here to this one. Imagine you are taking a top view look at a bridge where this one goes under this one, right? That's the kind of look and feel that we have. So how are we going to come here? It's difficult for us to do that. So what we're going to do is we will, instead of having this line over here, we will remove it. How do we remove it? We will switch the maze view on. Click on the maze view, and once it is switched on, hover over here and switch it off, right? And come back to the solution view. Now, does it look reasonable? Does it look like we have something that looks interesting? Because you are able to change your path, you are able to change the maze also, so that you can play around with all the options that are made available to you, right? Now, because we have got this kind of a layout here, this becomes a blocker. You cannot really follow this path anymore. And if you leave this as is, you can let the user come here, but they cannot go from here. They would kind of, probably follow this path. You can block anything that you want, really. Like, it doesn't really make a difference. Imagine this: if you leave this alone and the user takes a turn over here, they follow this, they follow this, they follow this, they come here. At the end of the day, they'll not be able to arrive at this. All right. So now what I'm going to do is, now that I have got the path here, the other thing that I need to do is I'll follow this path, right? I'll follow this path. I need to clear this, don't you think? Because this is a blocker that we have. So we need to clear this. What we will do is we'll clear this here, right? So now coming back to the solution, now you can see we have created ourselves a new solution. Okay, we have created ourselves a new solution. Is everybody clear so far? Can you please give me a yes if this is something that is crystal clear to you? Tatiana, Evelyn, Steph, Teresa, lovely. So now what we are going to do is we are going to take a look at improving this. Now, if you take a look at this path, everything looks reasonable, but here we do not have a continuity, right? There is a little bit of a gap. So what we're going to do here is fill that gap in, and that is where the intersections come into picture. All right, the intersections come into picture. So here, if you switch this on, you would see that now it looks a lot more relatable. It looks nicer. Okay, now you could switch these on as well, but imagine this: if this is a bridge that is going underneath, then you won't have this visible, right? So that is the reason why we leave it alone. And here we have an intersection, so we'll switch this on. Okay, now the reason why we call these intersections is because in intersections you might need to take turns, right? You might need to turn left, you might need to turn right, or you might need to just move forward. So depending on that, you will see that we have got an intersection which has got 4 elements. Depending on which direction you take, you'll be able to switch that on to give you the continuity that you are looking for. All right, so now this is what the solution looks like. All right, so now if you take a look at this over here, let's say we, minimize this. This is your new maze, and this is different from the default one. So how many such solutions do you think you can create? A lot, right? Because it depends on which path you are taking. Now multiply that with the 200 mazes that you're getting in OTO2 and the mazes that you're getting in FE and OTO1. So combined, you are getting 300 mazes each with different possibilities. If you get OTO2, of course, you'll be getting access to these, maze editor, which will allow you to craft your own mazes and make the solution unique from, as unique as compared to what is given to you in the default solution, right? So Tatiana says, for custom mazes, do you have to do solutions manually for each maze? Tatiana, it depends on you. We have given a default solution. We have given you a default solution, but if you want to customize them, you can customize them. And this is the process of customizing. As such, every maze would come with a default solution of its own, all right? Oftentimes, it is a good idea because see, at the end of the day, you want to make your books different from others, right? And when you do that, it is important that you have a story built around it. For example, you could have a story built around Christmas and a maze book that is catering to the Christmas niche, right? You could have a maze book that is catering to, say, some other holiday theme. It could be Halloween, right? It could be Thanksgiving, it could be something else. So these are all great gifting solutions that you could have. And when you have these kind of engaging mazes and the design elements that come along with it, or rather you kind of create those compositions, you'll be able to make your book stand out. So the reason why we have given the ability to you is if you are willing to spend the time and kind of craft your own solution, you will be able to do that. Okay, and this gives you a big differentiator. First, you have a lot of mazes to choose to create your book. Number two, you have the ability to customize the components or the solution parts. Number three, you can upload your design elements to create your own story-based layouts. All right. I hope, Tatiana, I was able to answer your question. Are there any other questions about the editor? Or is this something that you're clear about? Excuse me. Yeah, I'm assuming that you're clear about the editor. Okay, so now that we have understood what is available in OTO2, let me, and I told you, the base editor is something that is extremely powerful and is at the heart of the OTO2 offer. Now, here is what might get you excited. Okay, what we have done is we have gone ahead, right? We have gone ahead and created pre-defined page layouts for you. All right, we have created a lot of pre-defined page layouts for you, and let me give you an example of that. Okay, so this is what you get. Okay, and we have got it ready for the Christmas niche because we know it's just about time for the Christmas book. So you might want to have a head start, and that is the reason why we have created these mazes. These come pre-made. Okay, so all of this artwork that you see here has been created in-house. They have been organized for you, and they have been created in a manner that you do not have to kind of face something called a creative block when you start working on these, right? So you have something that is available for you, and quickly you can change or you can customize it by uploading a few elements of yours. For example, let's say you start with this one. You want to replace this particular cat and this character over here. You might have a lot of characters from what you might have bought from Huw in the past, right? You might have access to a lot of design components that you might have had. So if you want to use some of those, you can always go to upload images here, upload them, and change a few elements here and there. All of a sudden, you will see that your page looks different. Is this relatable? Does this look like something that you can achieve easily, you can do easily? Use the image upload option, play around with these elements and change them. Now here is where it gets even better. You will be able to copy and paste these elements, right? These can be duplicated. You can delete this. You can change the words. Yes, of course, Michelle, it's as simple as this, right? So Michelle's instructions here. right? That's how you can change the instruction. These are all placeholder content. If you want to delete this, you can delete this, right? If you want to copy this, let's say you want to copy something, you can copy, let's say you want to copy this particular ornament and take it here, you can do that. And then drag and drop. You can increase the size, you can decrease the size of these elements. All of these features are available to you here. You can reposition them. Let's say you want to move it around, you can do that, right? And then of course, like if you want to update the maze itself, you can do that. Now here, can you add text boxes as well? Of course you can. So let's say you want to add a text box here, right? And you want to
Niranjan, we're losing your audio.
oh, can you hear me?
Can't hear you, mate. Very low.
Is this better?
Yes, that's a little bit better. A little bit better, yes.
Okay, my apologies. So what we'll do is, Steph, to answer your question, you can always edit the text by inserting a text component. And for that, you would be using this particular option, which says add text. Okay, so that's how you go about editing these. Now, what we have done for you is we have got a lot of these pre-made assets readily available to you so that you can, instead of inserting a maze and getting started by uploading, by thinking of a concept and uploading elements, design elements, you can start off with something that is already available for you and then build on that. By changing a few things here and there, you can build on that, right? So let me give you another example. For example, let's take this one here, all right? Remember, whenever you insert a page layout, it will always be inserted in the next active page, right? So here, this is what it looks like, okay? This is what the page looks like. If you want to get rid of a few elements, you can always do that. For example, if I want to delete this, I can do that, right? If you want to reposition it, go ahead and do that this way. Okay, and if you see, there are some elements that we have in here which probably like are inserted inside of the maze, and if you want to alter it, you are unable to move them around for whatever reason, you can always right click on the element and push to back, so the one at the front will become editable and you can move it around. So this is what we have done, and in OTO 2 alone you have got 100 Christmas page designs that are made available for you. This is over and above whatever we have discussed in terms of the editor, in terms of the 200 mazes that you get. You also get 100 of these page layouts for Christmas. Is that number clear? Can you please give me the number of pages that you get where you get pre-made stories? Now, I would definitely not recommend you go ahead and use these stories as is. Put in a little bit of effort, because it's easy for you to do it. You have a lot of resources from various sources, so I would recommend you edit them. You get 100 Christmas page layout designs that are available for you. Now, I have this question for you to follow up on. Okay, so do you think OTO 2 is already looking pretty valuable with all the content that you have? Think about the editor that gives you enormous amount of possibilities to define your own path. You get 200 pre-made mazes, you get 100 Christmas page layouts, right? Is this a valuable product already? Michelle says amazing, Steph says yes, Lynn says 100%, Teresa says yes, Rachel says 100. Okay, so now that you know the value, Evelyn says yes, let me give you something more that we have in OTO 2. We actually have got 100 more pre-made page layouts that you see here in the Thanksgiving niche. It's equally good and it's equally kind of valuable. If you want to take a look at it, let me see if I can give you some examples over here. All right, so looks like we have a few examples here. So these are all under review right now. They haven't moved to the production state as of now, but you do get these kind of page layouts in the Thanksgiving niche, right? Think about this. Is this already giving you those ideas that you have always wanted for a maze book for kids, right? A story that has been pre-made for you. You want to substitute your characters? Delete this, insert another character that you have access to, and customize the pages. Change a few things here and there, duplicate a few things, and kind of have them around. So for example, this one, I have this hen here. So what I'll do is you're right. So this is not a hen, this is a rooster, right? So what I'll do is let's say I want to flip this, okay? Let's delete the pumpkin and let's have it here. So now if I want to kind of flip it, I can. So all I have to do is click here. This thing will open up flip image, and then you can flip it. So now you'll be able to kind of have something like this. So you can create a lot of elements right here. You can do things around. You can rotate your elements or images to kind of match the design that you're after. You can copy and paste things around to give a nice look and feel, but you do get an idea of the kind of content that we have. So how many page layouts do you have in total? 100 Christmas and 100 Thanksgiving. That is 200 pre-made page layouts available for you. Okay. Now, what we did is we thought, let us go ahead and change the value being offered a little bit. So we added a few more designs, but this time we are doing it in the Halloween niche. Now you might be wondering, Halloween is gone. Well, Halloween is gone for this year. It's going to be there next year. It's going to be there the year after that, and then the year after that, right? So we are going to give you 100 more page layouts for Halloween. All of these designs and elements have been custom crafted by our in-house team, and they have been programmed in so that they come with a certain style, they come in a certain pattern so that you can use them. So you are getting, in OTO2, you are getting 200 new mazes, which have been programmed into. You are getting a maze editor, which allows you to create an infinite number of possibilities, to be honest, when you want to create your own mazes. Think about it. Every intersection, you could switch that path off or on the maze. You could change or alter the solution path. What else do you need, right? If you were creating this on your own, this is exactly the flexibility that you would have needed, right? So that is what is available to you over here. Not only that, you also get these pre-made page layouts in 3 different niches. When we do the launch on the 7th, you would see that the Christmas and the Thanksgiving niches will be available. We will follow up the Halloween niche in a few days after that, maybe a week or 2 weeks, because that's something that we are currently working on. But imagine this. The kind of page layout that you're seeing here, right? The quality has been built into it, and it is designed in a manner where you can kind of craft something really quick, delete things, and kind of customize them on your own. So for example, in this particular case, you have a cow here, let's see, right? You could replace this with a farm animal that you might have bought from one of Huw's packs, right? So those are the kind of things that you can do. So this is what you get in OTO2. Now, do you have any questions on this? That's a few books and hundreds of individual pages for packs on Etsy. For sure, for sure. All right. And I would strongly recommend, now that we have been in touch with each other, I'm coming for presenting to Huw's Tribe probably for the 5th or 6th time now. I don't know. I don't even remember the number. I would encourage you to customize everything, right? Because you have the ability to do these at scale. Now it is important that you start customizing it and making your content unique, right? So that's what it's all about. Is this clear? Do you understand everything about OTO2? Can I please get a 2 in the chat box if this is clear and if you see value in what is offered in this? Okay. Let's see what's that we have in terms of feedback. It's like Canva for puzzles. Love it. Thank you. Thank you, Huw. Helen says, how much is this program? Helen will talk about it in a bit. Right, lot of tools. Evelyn says, very valuable, massive value. Thank you, everyone. Now we have something called OTO3 as well. In OTO3, what we have done is we have extracted all, these are all page layouts, right? These are not readily available. These are all page layouts where we have given you the structure, given you the design components. In OTO3, you will get exclusive access to these illustrations in 3 forms. One is illustration that you can use in the coloring pages and so on. You get the icons. You get icon format, and that icon format can be used across a lot of other applications that we have. For example, if you have got counting worksheet generator or other applications, you'll be able to use them, right? So you're going to get 500 illustrations in OTO3, 500 icons, and this time we have got a very special type of icon, which is called the view box icons. Now, the difference between the view box icons and regular icons is this, that the view box icons do take the relative size into consideration. For example, we have got a lion here and we have got the bird here, right? Now, if I made the lion smaller and the bird bigger, it would look awkward, isn't it? So let's say we do it like this. Now, this is not something that would look nice, right? And at the same time, you would see that because of the change, the thickness of the outline changes. We wanted to address that particular problem. And that is why what we have done is we have created a view boxed elements or icons where when you import those view box elements or icons, they come in a size or they come in a style that is actually aligned with the view box, like, the way you would want to see it. And when you put them on your pages, the line thicknesses would look consistent. All right. So those are the three formats that you'll be getting, and that will be available. You'll be getting 500 of those, right? So 500 illustrations available for you, 500 icons that you can use across various products that we have, and 500 view box icons as well, which you can mix and match around these. Now, imagine the value that we are delivering on OTO3, 500 each of those, right? So that is the funnel. We have got the front end, OTO1, OTO2, and OTO3. Now, coming to the price of the front end product, let me quickly take you through this document that I have for you. Everyone, can you see this document? Can you please give me a 1 in the chat box if this is visible? Lovely. So now that you've understood what this product is all about, let me quickly demonstrate what the features are going to look like. This is what I'll be putting together. I'll be placing on the sales pages, right? So on the sales page, you will see these elements. If you have any questions right now, I can answer them. Create hot selling evergreen hand-drawn maze books easily. Intuitive point and click dashboard. I showed you what it means. Professionally crafted hand-drawn maze designs. Again, you saw the examples. 50 exquisite programmed illustration maze templates. You saw those. Now, I say holiday mazes, holiday niches, but if you take a look at the maze, you can use it literally with any concept, any concept. A maze is agnostic of the niche that you put it in, right? It really depends on the story. What is the story that you want to communicate? And your design elements would have to be aligned with it. The maze itself does not really adhere to a specific niche and can be used across multiple niches. You've got one-click maze insertion directly into the drag and drop canvas. You've got maze resizer, like for example, you can drag and drop it. You get quick maze replacement to start designs. All it takes is one click to insert the maze, so you know this. We have got 900 font options. There were a few questions related to text boxes. Now, one thing I forgot to tell you is when you insert a text box, you get a default font. You have the ability to change that font as well, and you have got 900 plus font options that you can use that is already built into the application. All right. Show maze solution. We saw how the maze solution works. You can show it on the page. And if you are creating a 100-page maze book, at the end of it, you can craft your solutions as well, like a typical manuscript. Okay. Powerful single clone feature. Now, this is where you clone a maze. Shuffle pages, you can move the pages up and down. Let's say you've got page number 1, you want to move it to page number 3 or location number 3. You can shuffle those. Automatic page number insertion. This is something that is available as a standard feature in most of our applications. All right. You'll be able to write the page number on your pages. Multiple trim size. As you know, on Amazon, you have the ability to create multiple trim size books, right? You can go for 6 by 9, 8.5 by 11, and so on, 8.5 by 5, 8.5, and so on. So in here, you would have the ability to choose the trim size, okay? I went for an 8.5 by 11 canvas. If you want to alter that, you will be able to change that in the settings section. Page margin. Now, if you have worked on KDP or if you have uploaded or tried to upload a book, I'm sure you would have come through a problem where Amazon tells you your content is not within the limits and throws an error. That error will be gone if you have your page margins visible, so you know that you have to keep your content within it. So this is also a pretty nifty feature that is available in the app. Insert your own image. images. Now, this is a feature that we usually don't give in the front end, but here it was essential because this is how you would be able to add value to your book, even if you do not want to pick up some of the upgrades, right? So insert your images, but you need to remember one thing: when you insert your images, you will be able to upload them one by one. So it is going to consume some time, but you will be able to do it. Print ready 300 dpi images, a basic standard expectation. Download a single worksheet or an entire book. Now you can download one worksheet individually, one page individually, or if you have a 100-page book, you can download that as well. Now, when you download your book, you would download it in one of these three formats. You've got PDF that would be ready to be uploaded to KDP. Then you've got PNG and JPG. If at all you want to take these to your favorite design tool, say like Canva or PowerPoint or Photoshop, and work there, you can do that as well. Import files easily. All of these files you can import to Affinity, Photoshop, Illustrator, PowerPoint, and Canva. Work at any zoom level. Now, this is a feature that I think I need to show you. So let's say sometimes what will happen is you are not comfortable with this layout, right? You can increase it or you can decrease it. If I decrease it, this is how it looks. If I increase it, this is how it looks. So when I have to work on something, I might go for a higher zoom level. But if I want to scroll through and see the quality of the pages, how they look, I can always come back to a lower one, right? So this is how you go about, changing the zoom level. You can copy and paste elements, be it the mazes, be it text content, be it images. You can copy and paste them. Transient saves ensure you don't lose work. Now, this is a discussion that has been going on in our community for a long time. So let me tell you this. We do not save your content. So when you upload your own images to the application, it does not find its way onto our servers. That essentially means neither me nor you nor anybody else in this world would get to know or get to see the exact page you're building. The only time we will get to see your pages is when you decide to show it to us or the rest of the world. Why is it important? It is important from a personal point of view because I am a KDP publisher myself, right? Now that brings us to another question. The question is, Niranjan, if that is the case, what happens if I switch off my computer? If you switch off your computer and you're working on a single collection, your content will be preserved. And that is something that we call transient save. We do not call it a save feature. The reason why we do not call it a save feature is because it doesn't get saved into our server at any given point in time. So your content's privacy is of paramount importance, and this is our way of dealing with it. Okay. Now, up to 100 downloads per month, you get a generous 100 downloads per month. I'm sorry, everyone. You get 100 downloads per month every single month. Detailed training included. You will get webinars, orientation webinars that we do from time to time. You will get, training content that is already made available. So once you make the purchase, you will get access to the training content as well. A dedicated support team that cares about your success. So when it comes to support, you already are experienced with Huw and how he deals with the support side of things. You can pretty much expect the same with me and the rest of my team. We have got a Facebook group where like-minded individuals come along and they discuss stuff. If you get stuck at any given point in time, we do have a support email that you can email us at, and we will respond back as well, right? So there are multiple layers that we have. A dedicated support team that cares about your success, liberal commercial use rights, create, sell, and scale the peace of mind. With peace of mind, of course, there are certain restrictions that we have, and those restrictions are in place to protect our customers. You can see that on the sales pages when we discuss it, but you do have commercial rights to sell this and profit from this and keep all of the profits, and you don't have to share that with us. Okay. Now that was the front end offer. I hope everything is clear on that front. Now what we'll do is we'll move to OTO1. Everyone, if you're seeing those crackers bursting outside, that is again because of a local festival. Please pardon me if you if you're facing any difficulties at all. All right. Now that was the front end. All right. Let's move on to OTO1 real quick and understand what is it that you get here and how this is different from the front end. In the front end, you get 100 downloads. I think I have a question right here where Mary asks, can you pay for more than 100 downloads per month? Mary, I think the easiest option would be to pay one time for OTO1. And when you pay for OTO1 one time, you get unlimited downloads and you don't have to ever worry about downloading restrictions ever again, right? That is one of the big features that we have in OTO 1. So in OTO 1, you get unlimited downloads per month, no restrictions. Betty says, wow, that is a lot for FE only. Betty, I'm so glad that you recognize the value, and I really, really appreciate it. So yeah, moving on to the features here. Unlimited downloads per month. You get to download the PPTX files as well. PPTX files means PowerPoint files, and this could serve as the input file for your future updates. Let's say you uploaded a book and later you figured out that you need to make some changes to it. You can always do that. Okay, so that's where PPTX files will come in handy. And please remember to name your projects properly within the application, because when you download the PPTX file, that name would be carried over to this. So it's easy for you to kind of, select the project that you want to work on. Okay. Now you get 50 more artistic mazes or hand-drawn mazes that are available in OTO 1, in addition to the 50 that you've got in the front end. You get global randomizer feature. What it does is, if you have 10 pages, you want to shuffle them, you don't have to do that one by one. You can click on one button and it will kind of, do the randomization for you. Huw, are you guys facing any kind of a disturbance because of the crackers bursting outside, or is it clear?
Everything's clear, mate.
All right, okay. So easy image upload functionality. Remember, I told you that we have given the image upload functionality in the front end. That is because we really felt it is essential for you to make the most of the application, right? But the limitation there is you can upload images one by one. Whereas in OTO 1, once you buy this, you will get the image upload functionality, the true blue image upload functionality, where you do not have to worry about that one by one upload. You just select multiple images, upload them, use them in your pages, and you're good to go, right? In FE, you are able to use black and white colors for your maze paths and so on. If you want to sell on Etsy and you want colored images, or you want to have colored images for, let's say, your covers, how do you go about doing that? You can do that in OTO 1, because in OTO 1, you will get unlimited color palette options, right? Any color shade you can think of, you can go for it. Okay. Bulk shuffle option. This is very similar to, this is exactly the global randomizer option. So my apologies. This is a duplication of randomizer. Bulk delete option. This is where you don't have to delete pages one by one. You can save a few precious seconds by using the bulk delete option, which will delete all your pages in one go. All right. You've got a bulk clone option. Now, this is where you can clone multiple pages in one go. All right. You'll be able to clone, let's say you want to clone 10 pages or 20 pages, you can do that. But remember, can you undo the bulk delete? Steph, you cannot really undo the bulk delete, but what you can do is you can delete everything and restart again. And restarting is not going to take you a lot of time, simply because, you have pretty much everything that you would need to do on the master sheet. Once you got the master sheet, all you have to do is bulk clone again, right? So that's how you go about working with the bulk clone option. Now, detailed training, we have the training content included. I mentioned that liberal commercial rights and a dedicated support team, right? So this is all about OTO 1. Features include 50 more elements, designs. You've got unlimited downloads, PPTX downloads, image upload with full freedom, and so on, right? This is OTO 1. OTO 2, where this might not look like a lot, but you have already seen what it is all about, right? You get access to the smart maze editor. Just this was good enough to create OTO 2, right? To become a part of the funnel and be on its own. So what we did is we added more content to it. What we did is we added 200 additional programmed illustration maze layouts. We have given you access to 300 premium holiday theme page layouts. Now, these 300 holiday theme page layouts are in the Christmas niche. We've got it in the Thanksgiving niche, and we've got it in the Halloween niche. Christmas and Thanksgiving niches, the content is already ready. It will be available for you to kind of work with it instantly the moment you get access to the product. But the Halloween one will be updated in about 2 weeks after the launch gets over, right? That's the game plan that we have for it. Detailed training, dedicated support team, and liberal commercial use rights. This is what we have in OTO 2. OTO 3, we spoke about this. You get access to 500 plus icons, matching illustrations. Illustrations are the ones that you can use as coloring elements. Icons are the design elements that you use with certain applications where there is a scope for using them. For example, counting worksheets and other educational apps that we have got. And these view box combined icons, these are the ones that you'll find it easy to work with when you are creating your custom compositions. Now, imagine this. You have got like say 300 mazes, right? And various options that are available. Why do you have to stick to a very specific set of illustrations for one page? You can pick and choose from what is available. And then on top of this, you would have the ability to kind of upload your own images and icons. That's the level of flexibility that you get access to. All right. And these are all standard stuff that I already shared, the support that you get from us and so on. Right. So this is what the product is all about. Right. Now, I have a couple of questions for you. Okay. If you have any questions for me or Huw, we can take it up. But I have this question for you. First of all, when we started this webinar, when I started the presentation, I told you that you would be able to create content like an artist would without having to have the art skills. Do you think the application does justice to it? Please give me a yes in the chat box if you think this gives you the ability to get into a niche and create content that looks like it is artist made, it is handmade, it's not like computer generated stuff, but at the same time, you are the one who can actually make a decision and say, Niranjan, you know what? I don't want to use the default solution. I actually want to create my own path. I want to create my own composition. Do you feel confident about doing that? Huw says, yep, 100%. Steph says, definitely. Teresa says, yes. Tatiana says, yes. Rachel says, yes. This is lovely, right? That is the objective. The objective is to give you the ability to craft content that is not only able to compete with indie publishers, but also able to compete with the big publishing houses of the world, right? And while doing so, the idea is to give you the creative freedom so that you can decide what is you want to do. If you decide you are going to use one of the pages that have been given to you as is, the choice is yours. But if you decide to completely overhaul it, that also is a possibility. And that has always been the objective with this product and any product we release. All right. So this is what we have. And right, I'd love to answer your question regarding the pricing. But before that, do we have any other question at all? Huw, is there anything that I missed out on?
Nothing apart from I think maybe Lynn. I don't know if you answered this one. OTO3 images, can they be used across other apps?
Yeah, OTO3 images will be can be used across other apps. That's the idea. Yeah. Yeah.
Perfect.
So
that's it then, mate. Oh, Steph's asking, the solutions can be set to have 4 per page?
Yes, the solutions can be set to have 4 per page. The solution will be adjusted if you adjust the solution paths yourself. Let's say there's a default solution and you decide, I don't want to go with the default one. I'm going to have something custom of my own. You change that. The moment you change that, solution will automatically adapt and it will show you the new path that you have chosen. So that's something that is there. When it comes to having the number of solutions per page, you can go for 1, you can go for 2, you can go for 6, you can go for 8, and so on, right? So that flexibility will be there.
Perfect. That's it. No other questions.
Brilliant, brilliant. Now, who here is excited about the pricing? I think we had a question about pricing. I'm not sure who asked, but I think this is a question that most of us would have in mind right now, isn't it?
Yeah, Helen asked. I think Helen asked.
Helen, okay, cool,
yeah.
cool. Yeah. So does the solution show the whole page or not just the maze? I'm assuming yes. So it just shows the maze, Steph, because if we show the whole page, it will consume a lot of space. And then imagine you having a book of about 150 pages where you have 150 pages of content and you have another 150 pages for solution. That would increase your production cost, reduce your margins, and you will not be able to compete, right? So for that reason, what we have done is in the solution, you'll only see the maze and not the story. Okay, so that's the idea behind it, right? So now coming back to the product, the front end is priced at $47 during the launch. All right, during the launch, it's 47. That's 47, and after the launch ends, which is on 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 10th of midnight Eastern, the price would go up to $147, right? So that would be an increase of $100 after the launch is over. OTO1 during the launch would be priced at 67, And after the launch, it would change to 147 again. So both OTO1 and FE will increase to 147 after the launch is over, right? OTO2, we were planning to have it in 3 stages, like 3 different offers inside of OTO2. One of them would be 200 additional mazes, right? You know what is the effort that would have gone to create those and then program each one of them, right? The amount of time that goes into it. So 200 mazes, and then give you the superpower of editing every single maze so that the solution path can be chosen. We initially planned to make this a silver offer, right? So this was a silver offer that we had planned, and the price we were planning was a standard $197, right? This is what we had in mind. Okay. The next thing that we had in mind is a gold option, which would be 300 premium holiday theme page layout. So what was the thought process? Here is what was the thought process. Okay. You would get the compositions and you would not get the mazes in there. So because you have mazes from FE and OTO1, you would be able to use the mazes here, but the rest of the compositions would be made available to you. Now, just imagine having 300 of these holiday theme page layouts. Every single one of them has multiple unique elements. I will let you decide the production cost of that, right? So our plan was to have this at $197, right? So this was the silver and the gold options that we were planning. We were planning a platinum option where anybody who wants to pick both of these, right? You want to have the entire thing, you would be able to actually get a discount on the pricing that we have here. So if you take a look at this, the total cost would have been $394, right? If you got these individually. And obviously during a launch period, what we do is we reduce the price a little bit. We try to give a discount, or we try to cram up a lot of value in the offer that we create. So the combined or the platinum version that we were planning was supposed to be $297 instead of instead of 394. Okay, so the 3 versions of OTO2. I'm so sorry, this is very disturbing, the crackers that are going out. I'm so sorry about that. So if you take a look at this, now let me ask you this. Do you see this as a justifiable thing? 200 of these programmed illustration mazes, all right, 200 of this, and you paid 47 in the front end. Okay, you paid $47 in the front end for 50. So just by going by the numbers, the value here is 4 times because of these 200 additional mazes. Okay, and if I multiply 47 by 2, I think by 4, then that would roughly be, I don't know, 47 into 4 is somewhere around that 200 zone. Correct? It's about 186 or something like that. And then on top of that, you get Smart Maze Editor, right? So just this going at the front end price would cost you nearly 197. You get the editor, which gives you the ability to craft your own solution paths, right? Then you get 300 mazes here, 300 design pages, page designs here, each having some components that are completely unique and they're hand-drawn and so on, and you get this for 197. Now, if you know what it takes to craft these elements and the time it takes, you will see this as a big deal at price at 197. Okay. Now the platinum offer, where instead of getting these individually, or rather than clubbing them, what we decided to do is give it to you at 297 instead of 394. You got it at 297, which is essentially a saving of about $100. Right? This is what we had planned, and then what we did is we went ahead and did a few webinars with our community. All right. While everybody saw the value, they wanted us to come up with a pricing that would be beating the initial plan that we had. So what we decided to do is not complicate this at all, because right now our objective is to get this out to you so that you can get some books out for Christmas. So what we have decided to do is give this entire thing away for 197. Okay, so you will be getting access to OTO2, everything that I've said here, for 197. but the true value of this is something that you've already seen. So after the launch is over, the price of OTO2 would increase to $697. OTO2 will be selling for $697 after the launch is over. All right. OTO3, you get 500 premium icons, 500 matching illustrations, 500 viewbox content icons and everything else. And you would be getting this for a price point of $97. So that is what the funnel is going to look like. 47 for the front end, 67 for OTO1, 197 for OTO2, and $97 for OTO3. Okay. So are there any questions?
I did have one for in my private chat. Was if they make the puzzles, can they make say 5 puzzles and then upload them to Etsy?
Of course. Perfect. So you can upload to Etsy, you can upload to KDP, you can upload to Teachers Pay Teachers. So all of that is allowed within the license. The licenses would be mentioned on the sales page so that you can take a look at them. Now, look, the idea here is to help our communities and the indie publishing community in general have access to resources so that you can create an income stream out of this. All right. So our licenses are designed along those lines. But then we also have certain terms which are designed to prevent these from being abused, right? And let me give you an example. You cannot create PLR products out of this. You cannot sell content that you create using the application with reseller rights to someone else. Why do you want to do that? The reason we want to do that is because we want our customers, our paying customers, that's you, to have the ability and the exclusivity to create content like this. We do not want this content to be floating around on Creative Fabrica or on Fiverr or other such sites where these are devalued, because when it gets devalued, these are not only devalued for us, these are also getting devalued for our customers. So we want to protect our customers' interests, because at the end of the day, you pay us to get access to this. All right. It's a whole different scenario that we believe in delivering value for the money that you pay us, but at the same time, it's important to preserve, the sanctity of what we are trying to do here.
Excellent. And then Steph's asking, what was the view box?
Right. Let me explain that over here. So Steph, the view box thing is this. If I have a bird over here, and in general, we know that this will be smaller, in size as compared to a lion, right? So it takes that particular aspect into consideration, right? Otherwise, what will happen is when you insert a regular icon, there will be no difference between the sizes of the lion and the bird. Okay. So for example, here, the height of the fence has to be shorter as compared to this windmill, right? So those are certain things that are taken care of in the view box, and that is a concept we introduced here for the first time because it was relevant, right? But if you use this as an icon, both of these would come in at the same size. Okay, so what you would have to do is if they come along in the same size, you would have to make one taller, right? For that, you would have to drag it. The moment you drag it, you will feel that the thickness over here increases and the image would not look consistent. Does that help, Steph?
Yeah, she said she's got it. Thanks. Cheers, Naranjan. Right, so there is no other questions. I do see a private one from Mary, and I'll address that one in a moment. But Naranjan, thank you so much for a great, fantastic. Do you know what I love the most, though, right, is the fact that it's all hand-drawn, okay? And you've got the option, when you click Maze, you can actually break down the walls so that you're making your own unique puzzles as well. I'm just thinking the amount of effort that's gone into create that. What I like more about it, though, is all those images you're getting in the OTOs as well.